Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Adam's Record. Today is episode 11 and today I'm giving you Criminal Minded by Boogie Down Productions. Yes, it consists of the duo Scott the Rock and KS1 motherfucking one. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into that today. Let's start now. Ooh. Criminal Minded is the debut studio album by hip-hop music duo Boogie Down Productions. Released on March the 3rd, 1987 by B-Boy Records, considered as a highly influential hip-hop album. It also credited with providing a prototype for the East Coast gangster rap, which emerged in the following decades. Since its release, it has been sampled and interpolated and paraphrased. The album's samples and direct influence were unusual at the time, ranging from liberals, the use of dancehall reggae, as well as the more commonly used James Brown to rock music artists such as AC/DC, the Beatles and Billy Joel. The album was eventually certified gold. Okay, the album was released March 3rd, 1987. It was recorded in 1986. The length 51 minutes and 43 seconds. The label B-Boy Records. The producers Scott the Rock and KS1 and Ked G. Also the song South Bronx and the Bridge Is Over ignited the rivalry between South Bronx, the South Bronx, the South Shan and the Juice Crew. The former had second-hand musical ideas from Public Enemy that contributed to the New Jack Swing genre. The latter took ideas from MC Stan. Throughout the album, KS1 giving honour and praise to Scott the Rock for producing the album, and he mostly goes on about the importance of originality and being real instead of a sucker MC. Aware and therefore targeting of sucker MCs. In 2003, the album was ranked number 444 on the Rolling Stones magazine list of 500 greatest albums of all time. So this Criminal Mind, I like this Criminal Mind album. It has a mixture of street knowledge and poetic sound, as well as a bit of consciousness in it as well. So I like about KS1. He's a conscious guy, a knowledgeable guy, but he'll give you that street gutter knowledge, but he'll give it to you in a more of a conscious way. Mixture of both put together, and that's what you get. That's what I like about Criminal Minded album. You need to listen to that album. I haven't heard that album. That's a great album. I've got that album, and it's a good album. Scott the Rock is a top man producer. Did his bit on that. That's a good album. Background now, producing of the LP is credited to Black Master KS1, Lawrence Christopher Parker, and DJ Scott the Rock, Scott Sterling, with a special thanks to Cedric Miller of the ultramatic MCs of the back cover. On the back cover, the cover was showcases Parker and Sterling surrounded by an arsenal of weapons. Was hip-hop's first major to feature members of franchise and firearms. The album also contains several seminal hardcore songs such as 9mm Goes Bang, one of the first hip-hop songs to be based around a first-person crime narrative, and P is Free, which deals with an encounter with drug abuse and prostitutes. The liner notes of Criminal Minded reads, "Peace to Ron Nelson and Toronto Posses. This statement is evidence of BDP's involvement with the Toronto hip-hop scene in the 1980s, which produced artists such as Me and Dream Warriors and Maestro Fresh West. Controversy now about the album. Fans surrounding that album. An issue, the album sold at least several 100,000 copies. However, in the relationship between the group and the B-Boy Records quickly deteriorated when the label, headed by Jack Allen and Bill Kamara, which allegedly slowed to pay royalties. A lawsuit was launched, which was eventually settled out of a court. Having left B-Boy Records, a new friend, Ice-T, introduced DBT, the BDP, to Warner Bros. Records. Medina, head of label's Black Music division, who promptly agreed to sign a deal in the principle to a new record label, record deal, sorry. But however, it was rescinded after LaRock's death. By this time, Sterling was befriended by a neighbor teenager named Derek D. Nice Jones, who did a human beatboxing routine for the group. And one evening, Jones was assaulted by some local hoodlums, and he later caused Sterling to run interference. The next day, Sterling and a group of other came to Stoop, where he offended parties led. Sterling's intention was to try and meditate things, but one of the hood pulled out a gun and began shooting at random, ensuring the confusion. Sterling was hit in the neck, critically wounded. He died an hour later and was leaving behind an infant son. Warner Bros. Reneged on the new deal in the aftermath of Sterling's death. Parker, however, decided that the group should continue. A handful of friends who were brought into collected, including Parker's new wife, Mrs. Melody, and brother Kenny Parker, whom he had just recently reunited with. The original member and criminal-minded co-producer Lee Smith was dropped by Parker in pursuit of a deal, signing with Jive RCA Records. Parker was recorded 8 albums for that label in a 10-year period, eventually dropping the Boogie Down Productions moniker and filling in some other solo MC, RIAA, and others recruited him for a collaboration, as he was among the new hip-hop at the Beastie Boys Freedom concert. Meanwhile, Criminal Minded became notoriously hard to find, for failing in and out of print every few years, servicing with a different contributor every time. Eventually, the Boston-based independent label Landspeed Records purchased the right of the B-Boy Records catalogue. Hence, a re-release in 2002, an expanded release titled The Best of the B-Boy Records. Boogie Down Productions included longer versions of the album track and several chart singles that didn't make Criminal Minded's original pressing. On Spotify, this bumper part pack is simply known as Criminal Minded Deluxe. The album was re-released again in 2006. The original art intact when Landspeed became the Traffic Entertainment Group. Exception now. In 1988, Criminal Minded was selected by The Source as one of the 100 best rap albums. Vibe included it in their list of the 100 essential albums of the 20th century in 1999, and in 2002, the magazine placed it as number 3 on their list of the top 10 rap albums of all time. In 2003, the album was ranked number 44 on the Rolling Stones magazine list of 500 greatest albums of all time. And the Complex named the song South Bronx as the night's best hip-hop diss song of all time. In 2017, MC Shan named Criminal Minded as his all-time favourite hip-hop album. MC Ren also heavily sampled The Bridge Is Over on his 1992 Final Frontier. Okay, this is the track listening now for the album. Number 1, Poetry, written by Scott LaRock and Parker. Producer Seth G, DJ Scott LaRock and Rock and KS1. Performer KS1. Number 2, South Bronx, Scott LaRock and KS1. The producers Cedric G, DJ Scott LaRock and KS1 again. Performers D-Nice, DJ Scott LaRock. Number 3, 9mm goes bang. That's my favourite song on the album. You got South Bronx, but that's got to be my favourite on that album. That song, 9mm goes bang, is my favourite on that album. Written by Scott LaRock again, and Parker and Scott LaRock. Producers DJ Scott LaRock and KS1, and partner Lee Smith. Performer KS1. Number 4, word from our sponsor. Songwriter Scott LaRock and KS1. Performers KS1. Number 5, Elementary, Parker and Scott LaRock. Performers DJ Scott LaRock and KS1. Number 6, Dope Beat, written by Scott KS1, Scott LaRock. Producers Sed G, DJ Scott LaRock, KS1 and partner Lee Smith. Performers KS1 and DJ Scott LaRock. Number 7, remix for PS3, written by KS1, Scott LaRock. Producers DJ Scott LaRock and KS1 and partner Lee Smith. The performers KS1 and DJ Scott LaRock. And number 7 remix for it is the bridge. Number 8, I'm sorry, the bridge is over. Song was written by Scott the Rock and KS1. Performance said G, DJ Scott the Rock and KS1. Performance KS1. Super Ho, number 9. Song was written by again KS1 and Scott the Rock. Producer said G, DJ Scott the Rock and KS1. And performers DJ Scott the Rock and KS1. Number 10, Criminal Minded, self-titled track. L Parker and Scott the Rock said G. Performers said G, DJ Scott the Rock and KS1. Performance KS1. Number 11, Scott the Rock Mega Mix, written by Scott the Rock, and also produced by DJ Scott the Rock. Obviously, performed by Scott the Rock, DJ Scott the Rock. And it was, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna give you some samples now. Samples of which songs are some from the original songs. So samples are played on the album. So Poetry contains sample from James Brown recording Soul Power Part 1, The Boss and Don't Tell Me, scratched by T.I. Love. South Bronx contains samples from James Brown recordings, Get Up Off of That Thing, and Get Up, Get Out, Get Onto It, Get Involved. Word from Our Sponsor contains sample from First Choice Love Thing. Dope Beat contains sample from AC/DC, record Back in Black. Remix for P is free, contains samples from Yellow Man, Zuga Zuga Zig Zang. The Bridge is Over contains the kick and snare drums of the Honey Drippers, Impeach the President, and interpolation of the bassline from Supercat recorded Boop, played on the studio piano by KS1, and a short melodic lyrical interpolation of the Billy Joel recordings is still rock and roll to me. Super Ho contains sample from Captain Sky recording, Super Storm and Esther Williams recording Last Night Changed It All. I Really Had a Ball. Criminal Minded contains samples from Sally Johnson recordings, Different Strokes and The Trouble Funk recording Let's Get Small, and begins with a melodic and lyrical interpolation of the Beatles recording Hey Jude, Hey Jude. So yes, this is one of my favorite albums. 1987 this came out, late 80s, one of the best hip-hop albums of all time, one of the best of the late 80s, and it's one of the classic album. You need to listen to it. It's got a mix of street knowledge or street conscious and intellectual, talking about the impression, the society that he grew up in the South Bronx. And this is a great album that's been put together, and I love this album. It's a classic album. I ain't saying it is. People that do use the word classic out of context sometimes. It is. You need to listen to it. It's a good album, and yeah, that's all I got to say today. And that's it for today, and I hope I'll see you next time. And until next time, peace.